Gran Turismo challenges have become really popular right now. So I've decided to jump into the trend and do one myself. I thought to myself, what if I tried to beat Gran Turismo 6, a game allergic to prize cards, without any money? So lo and behold, the Gran Turismo 6 No Money Challenge. The rules are simple. No buying cars, no buying upgrades, no oil changes, no nothing. But I can use prize cars to progress through the game. But given how little prize cars there are in this game, it should be a pretty interesting challenge. So yeah, I'm not gonna tell you to subscribe because nobody does it anyway. Let us begin. So first, let's boot up the game. And yeah, let's just say the game took a while to boot up and set up. With the setup process out of the way, I did what any normal person would do and I skipped the tutorial. Now here comes the only exception for this run. The Honda Fit RS, which you are forced to buy at the beginning of the game. What the f is the point? Anyways, I went to do Sunday Cup and vibed to the pre-race song for the millionth time. Anyways, the first race is held at High Speed Ring. So let's see how I do. So the first corner came around and I managed to overtake the Vits with ease. The next corner came around and it went smoothly. But sadly, no overtakes. The next corner came around and I managed to overtake another Vits. The next corner came around and I caught up to the Volkswagen Lupo and I overtook it, along with the Fiat Punto next to it. Another high-speed corner came around and I managed to overtake the Toyota MR2. Yeah, let's just say that GT6 AI is pretty easy to beat. So I just cruised to the finish line and won the race. And earned 4,000 credits. But that means nothing, as money isn't the primary focus of this challenge. The second race is at Autumn Ring. The first corner came around and I managed to overtake the ugly Citroen C3. The next sets of corners came around and I managed to beat the Volts. And then I caught up to the Peugeot 106 using some clean racing. And then I finally overtook the Peugeot 106. And then I easily overtook the Corolla 11 with no problem. A braking zone came up and I managed to catch up to the Mazda Roadster. And then I overtook it on the next corner. Because the AI is so slow, I had no problem with keeping my lead and winning the race. And earning 3 stars. And yeah, that's Sunday Cup. In this game, you need enough stars in one class to move on to the next one. Anyways, let's go do Amateur Cup. The first race is at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. So let's see how I do. The first sets of corners came around and I managed to overtake the Golf 4. A braking zone came up and I managed to outbrake the classic Skyline. The next corner came around and I easily overtook the S14 Silvia. Another sharp turn and I overtook the Lancer EX. And then the rest of the race was dedicated to me catching up to the Atenza. I went for it on this corner and I caught up to the Atenza. And then I overtook it. And then I just cruised to the finish line. You get the point. And earned 3 stars. Now these stars are gonna be really helpful later on. But more on to that later. The second race is at Grand Valley East. The first braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the S13 Silvia using the cornering strategy. The next corner came around and I managed to out-accelerate the Storia, if that's even an actual word. A braking zone came around and I managed to beat the Starlet with no problem. And then the rest of the race was dedicated to me trying to catch up to the two Mazda Roadsters. I tried to catch up and overtake the two of them on the next braking zone, but that didn't go too well. I tried to overtake them again on the next corner and succeeded this time. Now everything was going great until we got to the straight. As you can see, blocking those two Mazda Roadsters wasn't easy, but that didn't stop me from crossing the finish line and winning the race. As the number of credits increases, it's only gonna get more and more tempting. Anyways, the third and the final race is at Willow Springs Big Willow. I used the cornering strategy on the first corner, allowing me to catch up to the Honda Ballad and overtake it. This long turn came around and it went okay, but again, no overtakes. A braking zone came around and I managed to outbrake the classic Skyline again. I overtook the Atenza on this corner, but then the Atenza overtook me back on the straight. Pro tip, if you want to overtake the AI on this section, just don't brake. But not if you're using a race car though. Now, because I didn't brake on the previous section, that gave me enough top speed to catch up to the Lancer EX and overtake it. And then it took me a bit of time to catch up to the Mito. But once I did, it was very easy to overtake it. Blah blah blah, I just cruised to the finish line and won the race. And earned 3 stars. And yeah, that's Amateur Cup. And now we enter Novice Championship, which is the first championship of the run. Anyways, the first race is at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit again. So let's see how I do. So the first corner came around and it went okay, but sadly no overtakes. The braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the Toyota MR2. And then I overtook the Sprinter Trueno on the next corner. Another braking zone and I managed to overtake the 206cc. The next corner came around and it went smoothly. But again, no overtakes. A braking zone was coming up, so I braked and I overtook the Silvia and the Storia. And then I just cruised to the finish line and won the first race. And earned 3 stars. The second race is held at Autumn Ring. First off, I tried to overtake the MR2 on the first corner but failed. I tried again on the next corner and succeeded this time. And then I overtook the Sprinter Trueno on the next corner. And then I tried to catch up and overtake the 206 on this corner but failed. I wasn't able to overtake the 206. That is, until I got to the Spiral, which allowed me to catch up to the 206 and overtake it. And then I managed to catch up to the Silvia on this section using some clean racing. And then I overtook the Silvia on the next corner. The braking zone came up and I managed to catch up to the Storia and overtake it. And then I just cruised to the finish line and won the second race. And earned 3 stars. The third and the final race is at Brands Hatch. Man, they use this track a lot in this game. But anyways, the braking zone came up and I managed to overtake the Toyota MR2. The next corner came around and I managed to catch up to the Sprinter Trueno. And then I overtook the Sprinter Trueno on the next corner. I used the same strategy that I did on Willow Springs and I didn't brake on this section, which allowed me to catch up to the 206 and overtake it. The next corner came around and I managed to out-accelerate the Storia again. The next corner came around and I managed to catch up to the Nissan Silvia. And then I overtook the Silvia on the next corner. And then I just cruised to the finish line and won the final race. And earned 3 stars. Like I said earlier, the amount of credits I can't use is only gonna get more and more tempting as we go on. Anyways, remember when I said that these stars are gonna be useful later on? This is why. That's right, you need stars to unlock prize cards in this game. But don't worry, that's not the only way to get them. Anyways, I went to do the National B license and this is how it went. So I successfully completed the National B license, and now I can take part in the National B class events. And also get 2 prize cards. One for acquiring the license, and one for getting all gold on the license tests. And if you're wondering, these are all the cards I have so far. Not too much, as you can see. And that's about it for today's episode. But before I go, I just really need to say that I'm very sorry for making you guys wait 3 months for this video to come out. But you know, it'll just be like that sometimes. Anyways, if you enjoyed, like the video. And maybe even consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in episode 2.